The movie kicks off with Shawn, a streamer and our main character, who earns his living by broadcasting daring stunts where he faces and overcomes his fears. Early on, we find out that Shawn's career is in trouble. A recent video of his caused a big scandal, resulting in him losing sponsors and a large number of his followers. 6 months after this fallout, Shawn decides to make a bold comeback. In a live stream, he reveals to his audience a deep-seated fear of his ghosts. In a bid to regain his lost popularity and to hold on to his last remaining sponsor, Shawn hatches a daring plan. He intends to stream an entire night spent inside Death Manor, a house infamous for being haunted and the site of numerous deaths. As Shawn begins his live stream, he presents Death Manor to his viewers, claiming it to be the most haunted house in the United States. To ensure he can't flee prematurely, he throws the spark plugs of his car into the woods. While approaching the manor, he narrates its grim history to his audience. The tragic tale begins with Mildred, the owner's daughter, who took her own life in the manor, marking the first in a series of deaths linked to the house. Shawn sets up a camera outside the manor, explaining that all the cameras he's using are motion-activated, heightening the sense of anticipation and fear. Upon entering the mansion, he takes a dramatic step to seal his fate for the night. He locks the door behind him and discards the key down a grate. He continues his story, revealing that following Mildred's death, the manor was the site of 11 more fatalities before it was eventually closed and boarded up in 1956. Shawn then reveals his plan for the night, to monitor 3 distinct rooms within Death Manor, each with its own chilling history of documented paranormal occurrences. Shawn first ventures into the master bedroom, a room with a particularly creepy past. He strategically places a camera on the wall and shares 2 spine-tingling accounts associated with the room. The first tale dates back to 1910, involving a man named Max Lowland. Max once described a haunting dream he experienced while sleeping in this room. In his dream, he awoke to see a tall, shadowy figure standing in the north corner of the room. The figure's face was obscured, but Max felt an intense sense of being watched, and he recounted hearing the same whispered phrase repeatedly, "Upon water still." Tragically, a year after this experience, Max Lowland died mysteriously in his sleep. The second account from 1995 involved a team of paranormal investigators who visited the room and captured a chilling photograph, further cementing the room's haunted reputation. As Shawn recounts these stories, a sudden thud disrupts the creepy calm, sending him fleeing in terror from the room. Shawn then guides his viewers to the spot where Mildred, the owner's daughter, tragically ended her life. Moving to the second floor, he introduces the nursery, a place marked by sorrow, where 5 children met their untimely deaths. He enters the nursery, playing a video from the 1990s featuring ghost hunters. In the video, a young girl witnesses something inexplicable in that very room. While discussing this, Shawn sets up another camera to capture any supernatural occurrences. Finally, Shawn enters the last room on his tour, a bathroom with its own grim history. He reveals that the most recent death in Death Manor occurred in the bathtub of this bathroom in 1995. Setting up a camera here as well, he plays a recording where 2 paranormal investigators captured creepy sounds, including the words "mama" and "pond water." As Shawn continues to set up his cameras throughout Death Manor, he delves deeper into the tragic story of Mildred, a key figure in the house's haunted history. He shares with his audience that Mildred spent 8 years in the house, her days consumed by writing poetry about a romantic love she longed for but never experienced. However, her life took a dramatic turn when a wealthy and handsome publisher, Lars Jorgensen, visited her small town. The two fell deeply in love, embarking on a passionate 2-year correspondence filled with almost daily love letters. Shawn then enters a room that, unlike the others, has no history of paranormal activity. He designates this as his safe room and begins setting up his equipment. In this room, he discovers a closet that contains a peculiar symbol hanging inside. Without much thought, Shawn removes it and carelessly throws it on the floor. Returning to his live stream, he engages with his viewers, one of whom suggests he provoke the spirit. Continuing the tale of Mildred and Lars, Shawn reveals that their romance was tragically cut short. After 2 years of letter writing, Lars proposed to Mildred, asking her to move to Boston and marry him. However, just 2 days before she was set to leave, Lars died unexpectedly, and a heartbroken Mildred took her own life the following day. The legend suggests that the spirits of all who died in the house after Mildred are still trapped there, possibly due to Mildred's attempts to create the family she never had in life. Amidst this storytelling, Shawn finds a doll under a bed and places it on a chair, setting the scene for a deed intended to provoke the spirits. His efforts are met with a startling response, a loud thud that sends him into a state of panic. He quickly retreats to his safe room, seeking refuge from the unseen terror. However, his audience, watching through the live stream, sends him photos of a mysterious figure outside the house. Checking the recording, Shawn is horrified to see a shadowy figure entering a room. Overcome with fear, he hides in the closet, while his chat audience urges him to venture out and investigate. The tension escalates as Shawn, already on edge, hears another thud outside his safe room. Suddenly, the door bursts open, sending him into a panic. He races back to the room, only to be startled by loud banging on the door. Overcome with fear, he starts to scream, but to his surprise, the intruder is revealed to be Chrissy, a devoted fan who has made the journey to Death Manor specifically to meet him. She enthusiastically offers to assist him in his ghost hunting adventure, claiming to have a passion for such endeavors. Initially, Shawn is too frightened to consider her offer and thinks about leaving the manor. However, Chrissy points out that his live stream is attracting a massive audience, drawing in millions of views. Curious, Shawn checks his stream and is amazed to see the soaring viewership. Seizing the opportunity to engage with his audience, he creates a poll asking viewers if they want Chrissy to stay. The response is overwhelmingly positive, and Shawn, eager to please his viewers, decides to let Chrissy join him. Equipped with a camera, the duo sets out on their ghost hunting expedition, with Chrissy suggesting they head to the master bedroom. As they approach the room, a strange occurrence unfolds. Chrissy momentarily vanishes, only to reappear seconds later. They then enter the room, and almost immediately, Chrissy screams, claiming she heard something. Investigating the source of the noise, Shawn discovers a secret room hidden behind the closet. In this hidden space, they venture downstairs and come across a chest. Inside, they find a book of poetry written by Mildred, the tragic figure central to the manor's haunted history. Shawn, intrigued, examines the book but quickly dismisses it as mediocre. In a suspenseful moment, Shawn's discovery of a dead animal sends him and his companion Chrissy running upstairs in fear. Once there, they decide to attempt communication with the spirit of Mildred, the tormented soul believed to haunt Death Manor. Chrissy persuades Shawn to recite a Latin phrase, a ritual she believes will put the ghost to rest. However, their creepy deed is abruptly interrupted by a loud thud. Shawn speculates that the noise was triggered by the motion sensor in the bathroom, but when Chrissy urges him to investigate, he flatly refuses. Instead, Shawn suggests that Chrissy should check it out while he monitors her from the safety of the screen. The atmosphere thickens with tension as he hears unexplained footsteps, and the planchette on the spirit board eerily moves on its own. To his growing horror, when Shawn checks the cameras, Chrissy is nowhere to be seen. Alarmed and concerned, he sets out to find her, only to be startled when she suddenly reappears, scaring him. Shawn's relief quickly turns to anger as he confronts her for the prank. But in a shocking twist, Chrissy suddenly attacks Shawn, biting his neck in a violent outburst. In a desperate act of self-defense, Shawn reacts instinctively and stabs her in the neck. Panicked and believing he has accidentally killed Chrissy, Shawn rushes to the safe room, imploring his livestream viewers to call the police. However, when he returns to the scene of the altercation, he finds Chrissy's body has disappeared. Adding to the mounting fear, Shawn sees on the screen the haunting image of Mildred's lifeless body hanging, ominously blocking the stairs. The viewers of his live stream send him a video where a child explains the significance of the symbol he had earlier discarded from the closet. It turns out to be a handset, a talisman meant to ward off evil, which had been protecting the house until Shawn carelessly destroyed it. Realizing his grave mistake, Shawn is overcome with dread, knowing he has inadvertently unleashed Mildred's spirit. In a desperate attempt to escape, Shawn makes his way to the stairs only to be violently attacked by Mildred. Overwhelmed by terror and the intensity of the encounter, Shawn loses consciousness for a brief period. During this unsettling lapse, Mildred disturbingly inserts her finger into his nose, adding a bizarre and unsettling twist to the already chaotic and frightening events unfolding in Death Manor. Soon after, Shawn's ordeal reaches new heights of terror. After regaining consciousness, he finds himself in a desperate struggle to free himself from the clutches of the ghostly Mildred. In a moment of panic and determination, he manages to hurl Mildred down the stairs, giving him a brief respite to search for an escape. He recalls the grate where he threw his key earlier and desperately searches it, but instead of the key to the manor, he discovers a key to a box that chillingly contains a severed finger and a photo. This photo reveals a horrifying truth. Chrissy, whom he believed to be an enthusiastic fan, is actually Mildred Pratt herself. As Shawn processes this shocking revelation, a ghostly figure floats by, sending him scrambling upstairs. He contemplates escaping through a window, but is confronted yet again by another figure. Fleeing back to his safe room, Shawn realizes with dread that the spirits are determined to prevent him from leaving Death Manor. Turning to his live stream for guidance, Shawn encounters a startling piece of information from a Latin professor in the chat. The professor explains that the Latin phrase Shawn recited earlier was actually a soul offering used by Mildred to bind the souls of the manor's previous occupants to herself. This revelation turns the chat against Shawn, bombarding him with hateful comments and adding to his growing sense of despair and frustration. Just as he's trying to make sense of it all, Shawn hears his name called and is once again confronted by the malevolent Mildred. In a state of sheer terror, he flees from the room and, in a desperate bid for freedom, leaps out of the second-floor window. Upon landing, Shawn frantically searches for the spark plugs he had earlier discarded, all the while plagued by creepy screeching sounds. His search is abruptly interrupted when he encounters a ghost. He rushes to his car for safety but stumbles and falls, only to come face to face with what appears to be a police officer. His initial relief quickly turns to horror when he realizes this figure is another ghost. Shawn defends himself and manages to escape to his car. While hiding in his car, Shawn receives a video from his chat viewers featuring the 𝐂𝐤 lady, a woman who lived in the house as a teenager. She recounts her own experiences with Mildred and explains that she had created a ward to contain Mildred's power, a countermeasure requiring a sacrifice of flesh. Before Shawn can fully grasp this information, he is attacked by another ghost. Resourcefully, he uses a potato gun found in his car to fend off the ghost. But in the chaos, his iPad is damaged. Returning to his car, Shawn turns to Mildred's book of poetry in a desperate search for answers. As he pores over the pages, he uncovers the incantation that Mildred used to harness her satanic powers. It's a chilling realization for Shawn as he recognizes the phrases repeated by the ghostly voices haunting the manor. They are words lifted directly from one of Mildred's poems. In the climax of the story, Shawn's understanding of the haunting deepens as he pieces together the true motive behind Mildred's actions. He realizes that Mildred wasn't seeking a family, as he initially thought, but rather an audience to appreciate her poetry. This insight sparks a plan in Shawn to use his own audience to overpower Mildred and banish her back to hell. Determined to face Mildred head-on, Shawn returns to Death Manor, arming himself with various items found within the house. He boldly challenges Mildred, making his way to the safe room where he discovers that his live stream is still running. Finding a spare iPad, Shawn reads his viewers' comments, which help him translate the necessary incantation to set up the ritual. In a moment of self-reflection, Shawn awkwardly apologizes to his audience for his past insensitive stunts, acknowledging his racism and poorly executed apology. He promises to be better in the future. His newfound resolve is quickly tested when he sets out to confront Mildred and finds himself possessed by her. She attempts to dominate his will, but Shawn fights back, regaining control of himself. The battle is far from over, however, as Shawn is suddenly attacked by a ghost. Demonstrating quick thinking and resourcefulness, he fights back and manages to defeat the ghost using holy water. His victory is short-lived, as Mildred launches another attack. In a fierce and grueling confrontation, Shawn gains the upper hand. He places a camera on Mildred's head, drags her inside a ritualistic symbol, and secures her with tape. Shawn begins reciting the incantation, but it initially fails, and Mildred breaks free, knocking him down. She attempts to kill him, but Shawn continues to resist, trying to flee. In the midst of this chaotic struggle, Shawn spots Mildred's severed finger and remembers the ritual requires a flesh sacrifice. As Mildred closes in on him, he makes a drastic decision. In a daring act of self-sacrifice, he cuts off one of his own fingers. This act completes the ritual, resulting in Mildred being forcibly dragged into the blood-filled basement by unseen forces. Triumphant and relieved, Shawn celebrates his survival, expressing gratitude to his now significantly larger audience for their help in surviving the night. However, the movie takes one final chilling turn. As Shawn exits the manor, he finds himself surrounded by Mildred's remaining ghost followers. In this suspenseful moment, the live stream abruptly cuts out, leaving Shawn's fate uncertain, and the movie ends on this cliffhanger. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.